Chapter 16, page 96. Those who have journeyed through the south of France on foot may have noticed halfway between Bellegarde and Beaucaire a small inn, in front of which hangs a sheet of iron bearing a grotesque representation of the Pont du Gard. For the past 7 or 8 years, this inn had been kept by a man and his wife whose only servants were a chambermaid and a stable boy, a staff which was more sufficient now that the canal between Beaucaire and Aigues-Mortes had taken almost all the traffic off of the road on which the inn was situated. The unfortunate innkeeper was none other than Dante's old friend, Gaspard Caderousse. His pale, thin, sickly wife was almost constantly in the grip of a fever, which kept her in her bedroom on the 2nd floor while her husband went about his daily tasks. To her never-ending complaints against their fate, he usually answered only, "Be quiet, it's God's will." One morning, as Caderousse was standing in the doorway of the inn, looking up and down the deserted road with a melancholy air, a horseman appeared in the distance, coming from the direction of Bellegarde. The rider was a priest, dressed in black and wearing a 3-cornered hat, despite the fierce heat of the sun. He dismounted before the inn, wiping the perspiration from his forehead with a red cotton handkerchief. Caderousse eagerly came out to meet him. The priest stared at him with peculiar attention for 2 or 3 seconds, then said, in a pronounced Italian accent, "You're Monsieur Caderousse, aren't you?" "Yes, sir," said the innkeeper, surprised. "I'm Gaspard Caderousse, at your service." "Weren't you once a tailor?" "Yes, but that turned out badly. The weather is so hot in Marseilles, and I wouldn't be surprised if people finally stopped wearing any clothes at all. Speaking of heat, wouldn't you like something to drink?" "Yes, bring me a bottle of your best wine, and we'll go on with our conversation." When Caderousse returned a few minutes later, he found the priest sitting on a stool with his elbows on a table. "Are you alone?" asked the priest, as his host set a glass and a bottle of wine in front of him. "Practically alone. My poor wife is always sick, so she can't be of much help to me." "Oh, you're married," said the priest with a certain interest. He cast around him a glance which seemed to estimate the true value of the dilapidated furnishings of the inn. "You can see I'm not rich," said Caderousse, sighing, "but what can you expect? Being an honest man isn't enough to bring prosperity into this world." The priest looked at him piercingly. "Yes, an honest man," repeated Caderousse, returning the priest's steadfast gaze. "That's one thing I can boast of, and not everyone nowadays can say the same thing." "You are fortunate if your boast is true," said the priest, "because I am firmly convinced that sooner or later the good are rewarded and the wicked are punished." "Your profession requires you to say that," said Caderousse bitterly, "but everyone is free not to believe what you say." "You're wrong to speak that way," said the priest, "for I myself may soon give you proof of what I say." "What do you mean?" asked Caderousse with surprise. "First of all, I must make sure you're really the man I'm looking for. In 1814 or 1815, did you know a sailor named Dantes?" "Dantes? Yes, I knew him. Poor Edmund. In fact, he was one of my best friends. Do you know him? Is he still alive? Is he free? Is he happy?" "He died in prison, wretched and hopeless." Caderousse turned pale. He turned away, and the priest saw him wipe a tear from his eye with the corner of the red handkerchief which he wore around his head. "Poor boy," he murmured. "There's another proof of what I was telling you, that God is good only to the wicked." "Ah, the world is going from bad to worse." "You seem to have been quite fond of him," said the priest. "Yes, I was very fond of him," said Caderousse, "although I must admit I envied his happiness for a short while. But since then I can assure you I felt great pity for his misfortune." There was a silence during which the priest searchingly scrutinized the innkeeper's face. "Did you know him?" went on Caderousse. I was called to his deathbed to give him the last consolation of religion, and there, on his deathbed, he swore to me by Jesus Christ that he did not know the cause of his imprisonment. That's true, he couldn't know it, said Caderousse. No, he wasn't lying, poor boy. He therefore begged me to bring to light the cause of the misfortune which he himself never understood, continued the priest, and to clear away the stain from his memory. A rich Englishman who was in prison with him, but who was released at the second restoration, owned a diamond of great value. When he left prison, he gave it to Dantes, who had once taken care of him like a brother during a long illness he had suffered. Instead of using it to bribe his jailers, who might well have taken it and then betrayed him, Dantes always kept the diamond in case he should get out of prison, for it would have assured his fortune. It must have been a diamond of great value, as you say, said Caderousse, his eyes shining. Everything is relative, said the priest. It was of great value for Dantes. It has been appraised at 50,000 francs. 50,000 francs, exclaimed Caderousse. I have it in my possession now. Dantes made me the executor of his will. I had 3 good friends and a fiancé, he told me, and I'm sure all 4 of them still miss me. One of my good friends was named Caderousse. Another was named Danglars, continued the priest, without appearing to notice Caderousse's emotion. And the third was my rival, but he also loved me. His name was Fernand. As for my fiancée, her name is Mercedes. Go to Marcel's, sell this diamond, divide the money into 5 parts, and give it to the only people on earth who love me. Why did he say 5 parts? Asked Caderousse. You've mentioned only 4 persons. The 5th one is dead. He was Dantes' father. I was told about it in Marcel's, went on the priest, making an effort to appear indifferent. But he died so long ago that I was unable to learn any of the details. Would you happen to know anything about it? No one knows better than I do, replied Caderousse. I live next door to him. Oh yes, he died less than a year after his son disappeared. Poor old man. How did he die? I think the doctors called his illness gastric enteritis. Those who knew him said he died of sorrow. I almost saw him die. And I say he died of... Caderousse stopped shortly. Died of what? Asked the priest anxiously. Of hunger. Of hunger, cried the priest, leaping from his stool. Why, even the lowest animals don't die of hunger. A dog, wandering through the streets, will always find something to throw him a crust of bread. And you tell me a man died of hunger in the midst of other men who call themselves Christians? Impossible. Oh, it's impossible. I've told you the truth, said Caderousse. And you're wrong to tell it, said a voice from the staircase. The 2 men turned around and saw a sickly face of Caderousse's wife, who had dragged herself to the head of the stairs to listen to their conversation. She was sitting on the top step with her head on her knees. It's no business of yours, said Caderousse. This gentleman asked me for some information. It wouldn't be polite to refuse. No, but it's not prudent to tell him either. How do you know why he wants to make you talk, idiot? Your husband has nothing to fear of me, madame, said the priest. As long as he speaks frankly, I can assure you that no harm will come to you because of me. Caderousse's wife mumbled a few unintelligible words, let her head drop back on her knees, and continued to tremble with fever, leaving her husband free to resume his conversation, but placed in such a way that not a word of it would escape her. But the poor old man must have been forsaken for everyone if he died such a death, said the priest. No, Mercedes and Monsieur Morel didn't forsake him, said Caderousse, but the old man took a profound dislike for Fernand. The same for Fernand, added Caderousse with an ironic smile, that Dantes named as one of his friends. Wasn't he really his friend? Asked the priest. Gaspard, said the voice from the top of the stairs. Be careful of what you say. Caderousse's only reply to the interruption was a gesture of impatience. Is it possible to be the friend of a man whose wife you covet? He said. Dantes had a heart of gold. He called all those people his friends. Poor Edmund. I suppose it's better he never found out. It would have been too hard for him to forgive them as he was dying. And no matter what they say, I'm more afraid of the curse of a dead man than the hatred of a living one. Do you know how Fernand wronged Dantes? I certainly do. Then tell me about it. Gaspard, you can do as you like, said Madame Caderousse. But if you listen to me, you won't say anything. This time, I think you're right, said Caderousse. You don't want to tell me anything about it? Asked the priest. What good would it do? If Edmund were alive and came to me to find out once and for all which people were his real friends and which were his enemies, I'd tell him. But he's dead and buried, according to what you've told me, so we can no longer hate anyone or take revenge on anyone. Let's leave all that in the past. Do you want me to give these people, whom you consider false friends, a gift intended to reward them for their faithfulness? No, you're right, said Caderousse. Besides, what would poor Edmund's gift mean to those people? A drop of water falling in the ocean? Yes, but don't forget that those people could crush you with their little finger if they wanted to, said his wife. Do you mean to say that you've become rich and powerful? Asked the priest. Don't you know their story? No, tell it to me. Caderousse reflected for a moment. No, he said, it would take too long. You're free to remain silent if you wish, my friend, said the priest in a tone of utter indifference, and I respect your scruples. We'll say no more about it, and I'll send the diamond. He took the diamond from his pocket and let it glitter before Caderousse's dazzled eyes. Come look at this, Caderousse called out hoarsely to his wife. A diamond, said Caderousse, standing up and walking down the stairs. Where did it come from? Didn't you hear? It's a diamond that Dantes left to his father, his fiancée, and his 3 friends, Fernand, Danglars, and me. A man who betrays you is not your friend, muttered Madame Caderousse. Yes, that's what I was saying, said Caderousse. It would be almost a profanation, a sacrilege to give a reward to treason, perhaps even crime. It will be your own fault, said the priest calmly, putting the diamond back into the pocket of his cassock. Now tell me where I can find Dantes' friends so that I can carry out his last wish. Large beads of perspiration broke out on Caderousse's forehead. He saw the priest stand up, walk over to the door as if to look at his horse, and then turn back. Caderousse and his wife looked at each other with an indescribable expression. The whole diamond would be for us, said Caderousse. Do you really think so? A priest wouldn't lie to us. Do whatever you think best, said his wife. I leave it to you. She climbed slowly up the stairs. At the last step, she turned around for a moment and said, Think it over carefully, Gaspard. I've already made up my mind, said Caderousse. What have you decided, said the priest. To tell you everything.